Alright, hello and welcome back to our playthrough of the Vell-os campaign in Escape Velocity Nova. So I think this is probably, mark my words, gonna be the last episode because we are very close on closing in on, well, what's left of the story. So we had, whoops, oh, hey, I hit the F key there on mistake and brought up the find option, but no matter. Yeah, we had just helped Lyral free the rest of the Vell-os from, or rather the Cryptok, from their imprisonment on the Corel system. At least that's how I'm going to phrase it. It's a little more complicated than that. Watch the last episode. But we have deposed the Bureau and we have set up a stable Auroran government. Everything seems to be going great. So let's see why that is not going to be the end of that. Throughout your trip back, you can feel the spirit of the universe calling to you. Several times, the need grows so great that only with an enormous act of will can you withstand it. But soon you know that it will grow too powerful, and you will cease to exist as a human being, and instead will become one with the universe. During these struggles, you peripherally notice the departure of the Vell-os beyond the physical realm. With a nod of your head, you say goodbye and wish them all well. With your enhanced senses, you can still feel them wandering around the edges of your awareness, occasionally touching the physical plane as they learn more about their new realm. Finally, you land in Ory'Hara, and you sense the relieved Miranda waiting for you. You know that she wants you to give her a lift to Kalari to pass to the Polaris leaders that their unspoken debt to the Vell-os is now paid. I will take you, you tell her before she can speak, and you almost wince at the wonder in her eyes. Alright. Without a word, you indicate with a subtle weave that she should follow. You lead her back to your beloved Hariori. She watches, her eyes widening in wonder, as you go through the pre-flight checklist without moving a muscle. After takeoff, you turn to Miranda and ask if there's anything else that the Polaris will need of you. I believe there will be one more thing, she answers reluctantly, the wonder in her eyes being replaced by shame. We have placed ourselves in an untenable position, and only you can extradite us from it. But it was not my doing, she tells you quietly. I will leave the telling of it to those who were responsible. With a single nod, you turn back to your internal struggle against the call of the universe. You know soon enough all of this will be over. And truer words are never spoken. Soon this will be over. So we have Miranda as cargo, which I always find a little bit amusing. She takes up an entire ton. I believe on the subreddit when they were doing a Q&A, some of the developers mentioned that the tons are a little bit wonky because, you know, they're space tons. They're not a metric ton or an imperial ton. They're space tons, which is probably less than former. You sense the presence of the entire Polaris ruling council, plus the caste leaders awaiting your arrival. Without digging too deep, you can feel the irritation of the caste leaders and the anxiety of the council members. Stepping out of the hatch, you are almost horrified to see everyone bowing. Without thought, you weave them all upright, telling them that you are still just a man. It took us over 6 centuries, intones Bisandrea formally. With your help, we have finally been able to pay our debt to the Vell-os. But we have another problem, she continues, and you can sense her nervousness. You may not be aware that we have recently entered into secret alliances with both the Federation and the Auroran Empire. The reasoning was that we could use our new position as allies to bring to bear some leverage from both parties in order to bring them closer together. Fortunately, she tells you, her voice on the verge of breaking, things didn't quite go as planned. As part of our agreement with them, Bisandrea explains in a small voice, we shared some of our technology with both of them. We had hoped that it would be used to raise the standard of living in both realms, but it is going to be put to use in the battlefield first. We protested, she sighs sadly, but they would not listen. Both of them proclaimed they would not trust the other, and that the weapons would only be used in defense of their own nation. But soon their technology will begin to outstrip their tactical ability, and it will be possible for one side to breach the defenses of the other easily and cause enormous amounts of damage. We are within a few months of what could be the most terrible war in the history of mankind. You shake your head at the naivety of the Polaris before announcing that you will go to the bar for a quiet drink. You tell them that in 1 hour, you will tell them what you will do. Alright, so who could have seen that coming? Play both sides, don't tell the other, give them advanced technology, what could possibly go wrong? And it goes wrong. Exactly on the hour, all the leaders of Polaris society file in with expectant expressions on their faces. You smile inwardly, knowing they aren't going to like your solution. The hour is up, Ory'Hara, Bisandrea reminds you politely. We are here to listen to your plan. You smile a sad, empty smile, knowing that you're going to manipulate them and destroying their own beautiful civilization. Join me on the Ory'Hara, you say quietly. There is something I want to remind you of, and it is best that you see it for yourselves. With that, you get up and leap back to your ship before heading into space on your way to Arza in the Zayuso system, to remind you of the sacrifices of one of their historical heroes, Ayusa. With luck, they will understand the significance of what you are trying to say. Alright, and that is a system, I think, immediately adjacent. And if you go to the system before this mission, there's like a message buoy saying, yo, don't land on the planet, that ain't cool. But we're gonna do it anyway. Yep. To non-Nilkamoria ships, the system is off limits to any non-warrior caste. Do not disturb Ayusa's grave with your presence. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. When your passengers recognize the planet you are landing on, a few look puzzled, others look sad. But only three, Uso, Miranda, and Bissandrea, look grim. As soon as you touch down, you usher everyone off the ship. You truly are a warrior for our people, says Inari, one of the leaders of the Tripira, after a long silence. Only one as great as yourself would even contemplate sacrificing yourself for all of humanity. You smile a sad smile and shake your head. It is not Ory'Hara's place to sacrifice himself to get us out of our problems, lectured Suso quietly. It is not he that will be sacrificed for humanity. That honor is saved for ourselves. Soon the Polaris will be no more, agrees Bissandrea sadly. We must destroy ourselves for the good of humanity. Thank you, Ory'Hara, she says, turning to you. You have shown us the way. We will remain in your debt. You shake your head before indicating that everyone should return to your ship for the trip back to Kalari. And we should read the blurb for Arza Ayusa. Over 4 centuries ago, the Pa'ayat had a disagreement with the Varash over who should have rights to a particular system. After decades of wrangling, the Tripura came in to adjudicate, but unfortunately both sides disliked the settlement and rejected it. In response, the heads of the Varash and the Pa'ayat were assassinated by a member of the Tripura, and suddenly there was civil war. Ayusa, the head of the Nilkamoria, after agonizing for 3 days, led the warrior castes in a decisive campaign that incapacitated the warring castes, and so ended the first and only Polaris civil war. In doing so, he broke his own spirit. After restoring order, Ayusa came to this planet to die. Have respect for the only man who has ever stopped the Polaris from destroying themselves. The Nilkamoria give their leaders the title Uso, which means disciple of Ayusa, as they viewed this man with reverence above all others. So there you go, and this is a unique vignette for this system. I don't think that's used in any other planet. But regardless, let's head back to the Kalari system. And from there we can finish up the game. Alright. Upon landing, it saddens you to see the once proud Polaris leaders file off, looking like broken men and women. But they now know, as well as you, that the days of their civilization are numbered. Soon their entire culture will have passed away under the weight of upcoming events. I have a battle plan for you soon, states Ayuso, the only one still holding his head high. Bissandrea nods sadly, and Uso bows before turning on his heel and heading towards his own ship. It will require a little time, Ory'Hara, says Miranda quietly, seeing the distress on the face of Bissandrea. When we are ready, we will find you. We'll need your abilities to get us through this. You nod, wishing there was something you could say to soften the blow to the very fabric of their lives. Instead, you smile a sad, empty smile, and head back to your ship to feel again the thrill of being human, for you know that your own time also grows short. And it's not even going to have us wait a day, because here's the prompt. When you sense the approach of Miranda, you know that the time has come, and you finally give in to the call of the universe and once again sink into the now comfortable union. Miranda watches with awe as you sweep up her mind on one of your weaves and carry it out to where you are focusing your mind. You know it is time to lead the Polaris into the war in which they will cease to exist as a nation. You must decide which force you will lead, one which will launch against the Federation, or the one which will try to smash through the Aurorans. So this is, it's not really a branching path, it just decides which of the 2 final missions you're going to do. They have the exact same outcome. You either go and fight the Aurorans or go fight the Federation. It's really which ships you want to fight for your last big battle. We're going to pick the Federation. because we just spent some time fighting the Aurorans, so it's fine. And also, we've just gained some shields and energy, which is kind of interesting. As you center yourself in the universe, almost absent-mindedly you set a course for Port Kane in the Cania system to begin the destruction of the Federation war machine. Alright. And I think if we go into our honors with P, we can see that we are... Oh. I could have sworn the Polaris had you receive some telepath ranks, but I seem to be mistaken. So let's land on Mjolnir, so we have a little save point, and then we can wrap up the game. And these are all our escort ships. We have our Striker and another Scarab, and it should be pretty good. It should be more than sufficient. Especially against Federation ships. If you choose the Polaris ones, you have to deal with their railguns, which are always fantastic. Whereas with this, you just have to deal with gunboats. I can deal with gunboats, even if they have graviton wake torpedoes. And it's just glorious, glorious combat. Yeah, they've already routed. Alright. I touch down on Cania. As soon as you land on the station, the Nilkamoria start laying waste to the infrastructure for the military in the sector. Within minutes they are finished, and you have them announce on the Federation HoloNet that you'll be next coming to Earth. So they have time to send their entire navy to meet you. In one fell swoop, you will destroy their ability to make war. Alright. I don't know why I'm going to the outfitter besides force of habit. Can we actually hire escorts here? That'd be kind of amusing. Oh yeah. We have to do it. The greatest escort. We don't even need Polaris technology if we have the Viper on our side. With the fearsome cargo drone. Let's hire some Vipers for fun. The young woman piloting this banana yellow Viper would look more at home as a grease monkey at a racetrack than as a fighter pilot. Actually, she says, I was a power sled pilot for a while. It's an extreme sport that they do. But escort duty pays more. She seems somewhat uncertain about this and continues to tune her aft plasma relay. Yeah, let's hire a bunch of these for fun. It is amusing that there's a unique dialogue for all the ships if you're hiring them as an escort. And I had not realized this is true even for things like the Aurora. Oh, look at that fleet. Very nice. Those Vipers are key to my plan. Even things like the Auroran Thunderforge has a higher escort dialogue for it. It's pretty neat. But regardless, so many interceptors. And they're not even a challenge. They're dead in the water. There we go, it's a pretty decisive victory. As soon as you land, the warriors start almost delicately destroying the infrastructure used by the Federation Navy. Within hours, while the Kane Band has retained its ability to build basic ships, all of the components used to build weapons and military-grade outfits have been destroyed. You realize that your almost cataclysmic campaign against the Federation is now over. Yeah, attacking two systems is really all it takes. For the first time since you began this war, you concentrate your perception towards the Auroran operation and find it faltering at the last hurdle. You quickly pass on to the remainder of your fleet your intention to meet up with the Auroran half of the Polaris operation in the Aurora system and help them destroy the ships there. Those warriors that remain capable of joining you do so in the final act they will take as members of the Polaris government. So as I said, it doesn't matter which one you pick, you end up doing kind of both anyway. And, you know, it's part of the fun. Ooh, we even had an intrepid Viper survive. Well done, my commendations. Could even upgrade them, but I'm not going to do that. Oh, I should have hired more Vipers on Earth. I don't know if we're going to make it without enough Vipers. I don't know why I care so much. Let's get a 1x speed and try to pull some cool stuff. Okay, this is just overkill. Is this Iusa? No, but it might as well be. Or, sorry, USA. I don't know if the eye's a hard eye. That's one thing I don't, or will not miss when we're done with the Polaris campaign, so I won't pronounce any more Polaris names. As your mind sinks deeper into union with the universe, you struggle to maintain your defense of the Polaris ships. More than once, only Miranda's mental cries are all to keep you from forever losing your sense of self. However, you finally reach Aurora, and they receive the same treatment the Federation got, leaving behind almost no central infrastructure. You know that you only have one stop left. Satisfied, you power up your ship after painfully withdrawing one last time from the Union. You want to visit the memorial to the man who inspired all this. Once more, you go to Ory'Hara, this time to leave behind your humanity. Alright, that's it. This is the last mission. We go to Ory'Hara, and that's all. This was the Polaris campaign. I think it's a pretty good one. It's a lot of people's favorite campaign. There was a poll on the subreddit not too long ago about people's favorite campaigns, or it might have just been favorite factions, but I think it was a campaign. And Polaris won handily. I voted for Aurora. Part of me wonders, though, if they just like it because they got overpowered ships. Alright. After landing, you take a few moments to enjoy your last minutes of mortality before you begin to slip into the seductive embrace of the universe. And you turn your attention to the unfolding events of the galaxy. You watch as the remnants of the Nilcomoria limp back to Kalari, and watch as both their Federation and Auroran prisoners are released. You watch the sad drama unfold as Byzandrea surrenders her nation to both of them jointly. You almost chuckle when you realize that only Tekarak understands the gesture. They have destroyed our ability to make war, he explains to others, to make peace and bring us together. They have surrendered to both governments. We will now have to work side by side to manage the dismantling of their government, as they will not accept the ruling of one government alone. With a sigh, you smile sadly and let yourself go, as your consciousness dissipates and you lose yourself in the enormous depths of the universe. One final act you weave into existence memorial to your acts as Ory'Hara, to remind future generations that you will one day return when you are once again needed. Alright, and now we get the long blurb about what happens after we're gone. Very similar to the Auroran campaign. With Ory'Hara gone, the Polaris were quickly and kindly assimilated into the cultures of the Auroran Empire and the Federation. Their act was never forgotten. Slightly less than 2 centuries later, humanity was once again united, and the first period of disunity, which had started with the Polaris exploratory expeditions in the Vell-os War, was finally brought to a close. Only the second period of disunity, which, due to the 2 centuries-long Shard War, resulted in many more deaths despite being much shorter, marred humanity's development from ape to god. So supposedly, the Shard War was going to be the settings of the sequel to this game, although it never got made. Oddly enough to all concerns, both periods are brought to a close through the actions of an individual named Ory'Hara. In both cases, the person in question seemed to arrive out of nowhere, and once the job was done, they both disappeared again. More than a few people believe that they were both manifestations of the spirit of the universe. Such talk was scoffed at by most people. Scoffed at, that is, until the day, 50,000 years later, when humanity finally joined their fellow cousins beyond the Veil and learned the truth. In a final act of thanks, they left the word Ory'Hara attached to every construction they had ever made. When, after millions of years, other youthful races finally developed interstellar technologies and stumbled onto the moldering remains of the ancient human civilization on 1,000 worlds, they could not help but wonder at a single word telepathically embedded in every stone. And so the legend of Ory'Hara lives on. I, to this day, don't know what Ory'Hara is supposed to mean. I think it's gibberish. Alright, oh wait. Yes! Upgrade escort. Just gonna be the shipyard, because there is a shipyard here. Alright, that's the player's campaign. I'm gonna go ahead and read our spiel, as I always do. After more than 40 months, some 1,000 odd pages of notes and background information, 12 short stories, some 1,000 odd images, about 75,000 man hours, and more than 10,000 email messages that take up more than 24 megabytes of hard drive space, more than 10 gigabytes of development files, over 30 meetings, and more than 1 strained friendship, some of which have remained a little cool. Here is Nova. We hope you enjoy it. Oh, and congratulations on completing all the major storylines. That's 1 of 6. Try again and see what else you can find. Good luck, and thanks for playing, Nova. And for us, that's 4 of 6. Welcome to the New Sydney Hotel, the best little pub in town. You walk into a happy atmosphere where everyone seems to be enjoying themselves immensely. You notice a group of 6 people toasting each other over a few beers and 1 Coke on one of the high tables near the window. You wonder what they're celebrating. Alright, we did it. And here's the Kestrel. We could still not buy the Kestrel. I don't want the Kestrel, so that's all fine by me. No missions on our spiel. It's all good. So usually this is where I'd leave it. I would call it a day here. But I do actually want to go to the Arzayusa system, because it mentions that we made a monument, and lo and behold, it actually does make a new planet in that system. So we're going to go check that out, and that is where we're going to end the Polaris campaign. If you want me to do things like, conquer planets or whatever as Polaris, let me know. Maybe I'll do that. I definitely intend to do that with the Aurora and Thunder Forge, but let me know in the comments. That'd be cool. Oh, it's this one. Oh, it uses the Earth sprite. That's interesting. So here it is, Ory'Hara. The warriors who were patrolling this system when Ory'Hara visited it the final time say that this planet simply came into existence at around the same time Ory'Hara vanished off their sensors. This is a really cool vignette. In their last official act, while still nominally a government of their people, the Polaris ruling council named this planet Ory'Hara, as a memorial to the man who guided them towards their destiny. The Polaris and their descendants revered this man above all others, which is odd when you realize that he was the one who suggested they take the action which led to their demise as a nation. Alright. I'm not sure. I think this is supposed to be a support strut for the planet, which is kind of neat because that implies that's how it works on Earth as well. Well, thank you for joining me for the Polaris campaign. Next up is probably the Rebellion. So, until next time, hope you have a good one.